Hi, and welcome. I'm Wendy Schuckert, editor-in-chief of ITProToday.com and DataCenterKnowledge.com. I'm here today live on the floor right outside the expo hall of Data Center World 2024 in Washington, D.C. And joining me today is Joshua Yoon. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You are the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Virginia Transformer Corporation, and also a speaker here at the event. Yesterday, you had a pretty hugely packed room talking about reliable power. How did your session go?
Very good, very good. I was quite surprised, pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect that many people would be there, but the title of the presentation was "Successful Data Centers Begin and End with Reliable Power." So as you can kind of tell from the title, the whole thing presentation was basically based upon what kind of role does transformer have in terms of a data center. Okay, so people don't realize that having reliable transformer feeding power to data center is one of the most critical factor that determines success of the data center. Imagine if transformer, one reason or the other, goes down, even for half a day,
Right.
then that you just lost the entire data center, right? So people spend a lot of money and then effort to try to make redundancies and make it more reliable. But at the end of the day, everything is based upon
Yeah.
assuming there's a power feeding, reliably power feeding the data center. So the data center power can only be provided to the transformers. Transformer, all it does is that takes the power that's available from the utility company
Mm-hmm.
and then step it down to a usable level,
Right.
right? So it's a critical piece of equipment all data center must have. And then so you have a giant one that's in a substation feeding basically entire data center, but also at the other side of that transformer, based upon the scheme of the data center, you may have anywhere from 10 to 200 or 300 smaller transformer feeding the data center. And those data center is just as important as the big one. If those goes down, then obviously you're going to lose all the loads, all the server, everything else is
Right.
tied to that transformer.
And of course, that uptime is everything. It's a bit like having your car run out of gas, and you're right by the gas pump, but the hose doesn't reach,
Right,
and you can't do anything.
right.
In terms of reliability, does there's a measure for that in terms of depending on client size? It's really comes down to dollars, right? And
Exactly,
and trustworthiness for the client.
exactly.
What entails having the ability to have reliable power? How do I go about telling if I'm a CE or a CIO, how do I tell the CEO and explain to them all of the things that we have done to make sure that we're going to continue to keep uptime?
Sure, sure. So basically, in order to have reliable power continuously feeding data center, uh, has to have the right reliable equipment up front, right? So transform being one of them. So basically, I told the audience yesterday during my presentation, there are a few things that you must consider. Number one, it starts with selecting a responsible supplier, manufacturer. There are many, many transformer suppliers out there, but at the same time, what you need to look at is how long have they been in business, okay? And how much experience do they have serving data center industry? Because transformer for data center is very unique. Every transformer we make, a company like us make, is very custom designed for that particular application. Data center industry demands a very specialized design for transformer. Therefore, just because you've been in transformer business for a long time, but yet you haven't even served the market, that's the wrong manufacturer to select. So that's number one thing that you look for. Do you have the experience? Do you have the skill set? Do you have the knowledge to support this fast-growing, critical data center market? That's number one. Number two is if we select a few handful of them, next thing you got to do is, do they have the technical knowledge leadership? Because design is fundamentally most important. Everything starts with a robust
Sure.
design. If the design is flawed, doesn't matter how long it takes. I don't know if you know this, Wendy, but a typical 100 MVA transformer, okay, usually takes from start to finish, anywhere from 3 to 6 months to build.
I had no idea.
3 to 6 months.
Wow.
Okay, so that's after design is done. Okay, so
Wow.
imagine you spend 6 months building
Yeah.
this giant transformer, and after testing, realize design was a flaw. Then what happened? Start
I guess
over?
you have to start back over
Right?
because you can't probably retrofit it.
No. So that's the reason you must have robust design. So that's why you need to validate to a supplier, manufacturer, make sure do they have the know-how? Have they been doing this? Okay, what are the tools that they use? What are the processes they use? Okay, so this validation is a must. And then second thing you got to look for is design is done, but can you build it? Right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, think about it.
Otherwise, it's all on paper.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 to 6 months manufacturing cycle time. So the question is, do they have enough? Okay, first of all, do they have capacity? Do they have a labor force? Do they have enough processes, robust processes, that ensures that the design will be translated into final product? Okay, so that needs to be verified. And then finally, another thing that I explained to the audience yesterday is shipping transformer requires tremendous amount of effort. I don't know if you realize this or not. 100 MVA transformer, it cannot be shipped through truck
No, I had no idea.
because it would hit every bridge. It's going to go through.
Oh, that makes total sense.
So what we do is that while transformer being built, we have a separate dedicated department, logistics team. They do nothing but try to come up with the pathway.
Oh my gosh.
So you may have to go through from, let's just say you're shipping it from Georgia
Right.
to California.
Right.
Okay, so you may have to go through. You got to route it, and then figure it out which the best route, because you have to know the bridge height
Right.
and everything. But also you have to go through maybe 80 different jurisdiction. So every jurisdiction is going to require different thing. Some jurisdictions say you got to have police escort,
Do you have to notify every single district?
and then you have to get a permit.
Whoa.
Okay, so that takes about 3 to 4 weeks just
Yeah.
to set that up. Okay, so try to do this from overseas. Very difficult. Okay, so
That's mind-boggling.
So anyway, it may take 4 weeks, 6 weeks for transfer from the factory to the site. Tremendous amount of effort, permitting, police escort, okay, clearing all the bridges and everything else. But even with that, some of the larger transformer just physically not allowed because they're so big.
Sure.
So we have to ship it through rail.
Wow.
So we actually have factories where rail spur actually come into the plant,
Okay.
and we load it onto a rail cart, and then now it get connected to railroad, the truck, the locomotive, and ship it. So again, that gives you an idea what it would take to ship a transformer. So you need to select somebody who knows what they're doing. They have the capability and the crew. Finally, another thing that I mentioned to them was you need to have field service. Okay, these are huge, transformer. Remember, if you cannot energize, for something happen, you need somebody be on site
total
within
sense.
24 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah.
That means you have to have an installed base. You have to have a crew available with equipment ready to go. So that's another thing that when you evaluate as a responsible supplier manufacturer, these are all the things that you need to do. Only then you can be sure that supplier you selected is capable of delivering a reliable transformer. The one last thing that I mentioned to them was lead time. Did you know, Wendy, right now, to get a 100 MVA transformer, the standard lead time is 3 years.
No, I had no idea.
Remember, they're specially designed for
Right.
the data center.
Right.
So that transformer goes down. Do you want to wait 3 years?
Your business is done.
You're finished.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is another reason. Keep on emphasizing. You must have reliable transformer feeding your data center. Okay. So don't cut corner. A lot of people will sacrifice reliability
Right.
because of availability. Somebody
Right.
can deliver in 6 months earlier. So you basically bet and say, I'm just going to give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But again, whatever money that you thought you saved or lead time you thought you saved, will you lose it all in half a day
Yep.
if the data center goes down. So these are the kind of critical thinking we need, I guess, whoever is planning data center must take into consideration when they're planning a new data center.
Oh my gosh. Joshua, thank you so much for explaining this to me. I have learned so much in this 10 minutes about that I had no idea the complexity that is happening behind reliable power. Thank you so much to Joshua Yoon, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Virginia Transformer Corporation, for taking time out of the conference to come and sit and chat with us. I'm Wendy Schuckert. Thank you and have a great day.